The Environment Committee to order for April 26, 2022. Welcome back, everybody. My gosh, it's been 2 years. It must have been our last in-person meeting was beginning of March, I imagine, 2 years ago. So it's been a long haul, but here we are, and the work continues, and we've got a good agenda before us today, so I will call the meeting to order, and without objection, the agenda is approved, and we've got some minutes. You are going to correct me, because I am so out of practice for like how to move us forward. So yeah, do we need to approve the agenda and we take a vote on that?
Yes, we need a motion and a second for the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion and second has been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Carries
Much faster.
unanimous. Yeah, we can do a roll call if you want, Wendy. Maybe we should just go on to the minutes for April 12th, 2022.
Move approval of the minutes.
Motion's been made and
Second.
second has been made as well. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Okay, we've got some minutes approved. Nothing on the consent agenda this afternoon, but we do have 4 items on our non-consent agenda, including one of my favorite topics, the Water Efficiency Grant Program. And Mr. El Hassan is with us this afternoon. Welcome, Ali.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. I'm very happy that I will be the first presenter after we are back in person. So, and the topic is a very interesting topic, the topic of the efficiency grant, which is become one of the popular programs for us in the Metropolitan Council. Brian Davis, unfortunately, he is not available to do the presentation today, so I'm covering for him. So if you might have some difficult questions, I might go back to Brian and get some more answers for you. With that, next slide, please. Or can I move it? Sorry, we are learning to do that. We have to learn to do that again. Thank you. As we came back to this committee, I think twice in the last year about this grant program, the first time I think we came about giving an update or where we are with the previous funding. And the next time we came and we talked about we are going out for a new round of applications, and we explained to all the members the criteria we're using to distribute the money. And the Clean Water Fund, we were really pleased that the amount of money that we received from the Clean Water Fund went up a little bit. It's not as huge as we were hoping for, but instead of $750,000 in the last appropriation, we got $1 million in this appropriation. So it seems like they're adding for us every 2 years $250,000. So hopefully next time we'll be able to get more than that. So this $100 million, this $1 million is available for 2 years program, and the application, communities went through the application in the period from February 1st until the end of March, and we received 38 applicants this time. It's almost the same amount of communities who applied last time. The communities who were eligible, it's 126 municipalities in the area, and 38 communities took advantage of this grant program. The maximum possible grant program that we made available is $50,000, and the minimum possible grant amount is $5,000. So we upped it from $2,000 to $5,000 for the minimum amount so that we can encourage more of the smaller communities to apply for the grant program. Municipalities match is 20% of the grant program, so Met Council provide 80%, municipalities provide 20%, and one of the conditions we have is that the rebate program, the 100% that provided from both of us, the community and the Met Council, should not cover 100% of the cost of the device that they are changing. So the homeowner or the business owner will have still to pay something so that they can contribute and have participation in the program. We received, as I mentioned, 37 applications requesting a total of $1.4 million. We have $1 million. The request came at $1.4 million. We have 5 new communities who are applying for the first time. As I mentioned, this program, we have been running it since 2015. The first time we have only 19 communities applying. The second time we have 38 communities applying. Now we have 38 or 37 communities. Out of those 38 or 37 applicants, we have 32 returners. So these communities who have starting developing, building the knowledge about the program, starting creating a rebate in their city, and they have all the logistics in place that they can use the money and they can distribute it to the residents. And they have actually, we received some interesting quotes from some of the cities, City of Hugo, saying that after they finished all the rebate, they kept receiving calls from the residents that they wanted they wanted the money and they wanted the program. And so that's an indication that residents in some of the communities are aware of the rebate program, and the communities, especially if the communities have a well-established water supply group and professionals who are working for them, that's an advantage for many of the communities. Unfortunately, for some of the communities, they don't have that advantage. And I think we have learned that there is some potential for engagement by the counties to help administering the program, because the administration was one of the difficulties that some of the communities have established. And Dakota County was one of the examples that Dakota County is the one that's managing the program for many of for the communities that are applying in Dakota County. And hopefully this experience that we have with Dakota County will share it with other counties so that they can step up and help other smaller communities, especially in managing these programs. So this is the map of the current applicants for this program. The light blue is the communities who are returning to the program, and the dark blue are new communities who are applying for the first time. It's very interesting. For many, many years, some of these communities were trying to ask them to apply because they have some issues in water supply that we have identified in the master water supply plan. And it took them 10 years before they realized that they need to apply for the grant program. And we are lucky that now many of the communities who have not been part of this program in the past are applying for us and trying to take advantage of the program. So we received a range of requests from the different communities, ranging from $50,000, that's the total amount allowed, to the least amount that we received is $6,000. And this is the list of all the communities and how much request for the funding that we received from them. But because we know that we have 1 million and we received 1.4 million, so we have to ration that. And in the past, we have developed a criteria of how we are going to do that. And we shared that criteria actually ahead of time with the communities before we applying. When we advertised for this program, we told them we are going to take into consideration these 4 criteria. And we had actually a meeting that we did it in February, in the middle of the application period, just to help the communities understand how we're going to score if we receive more requests than the amount of money that we have. So everyone was aware of these criteria. And I want to bring to your attention the date of the application, because we tried to make sure that communities understand that we wanted them to apply as soon as possible and to send their application. And that's one of the criteria that we have put into our evaluation. The scoring system has, again, 4 factors: residential gallons per day per person, peak month to winter month ratio. So we looked into that city, how much they use in their peak month, which is usually July or August, and we compare it to their winter use. The bigger the ratio, the higher the score for them, because they really need to reduce that. That's what we are seeing as one of the factors. And we also looked into the number of water supply issues listed in the Master Water Supply Plan. The Master Water Supply Plan has a community profile for each one of the communities in the metro area. And in that profile, we identified different issues. As example, water quality issues. This community is facing water quality issues. This community is facing interaction between surface water and groundwater issues. This community is facing water availability issues. So, and some of them have like all of these issues together. So we tried our best to, as we documented, to use our reference here is the Master Water Supply Plan that was approved by the Metro Area Water Supply Advisory Committee and the communities in 2015 as the reference for us to use here. And again, the last factor we used here is the date of the application that we received. These, as I mentioned, the scoring factors were communicated with all of the applicants before in different forms during the application process, during the meeting that we had, the meeting that we had with the communities to explain the program to them. And the total possible score is 148. The higher the score is, the better. And then results in lesser, and that's you higher the highest the score, you have lesser reduction in your amount that we're going to take from you so that we can provide funding for everyone. So one of the main things that we have established in this program, every applicant will give them an award. So we don't want to return anyone. We don't want to say to any community, no, we are not giving you any money this year. But we try to ration the amount of money that we have based on the scoring criteria that we have developed and the scoring system that we have communicated with the communities. So this slide shows the scores of each of the communities when we run it through these 4 factors. The maximum score is, I think the example of here is Shakopee, the Shakopee Public Utilities Commission. They scored the highest, and the lowest is Robbinsdale. And this is nothing to do with, it's just a combination of the factors, the 4 factors. You know, some of the communities, it might help them that they have the 4 factors, while others, they might not help them that the 4 factors they're not scoring well in the 4 factors. And again, you know, you can think about it from different perspectives. Developing communities, usually they have a higher gallons per day per person, they have a higher summer to winter ratio, and they have more issues. While developed communities, they usually have the lowest gallons per day per person. A good example of that is White Bear Lake. White Bear Lake City is their water, the water use is about 55 gallons per day per person, which is, in comparison, this is one of the lowest in the metro area. While if you look into other communities like Rosemount or Maple Grove, the water use is in the hundreds gallons per day per person. So that's why they are scoring higher, because they have an issue that they need to deal with it. So we applied the scoring to the requested amount so that we can ration the amount and we can distribute it among the communities in a way that's fair and transparent. So we reduce the score to reduce the grant awards by a percentage amount. Every municipality, as I mentioned, will receive an award. Those asking for less than 10,000, which are only 3 communities out of the 37, we made a decision that it's better to give them the amount that they requested. And some of the communities are asking for 8,000, others are asking for 6,000, and the third community is 9,000. So we decided any community asking for less than 10,000, let's give them the full amount that they asked for so that we can encourage them to apply for the next time. And most of these, some of these are smaller communities. We want them to apply for next round also. So based on this formula and these calculations, we run everything through the program that we have, and we have the final awards in front of you, as you can see it here. The maximum award is $49,000. This is 1,000 reduction from what Shakopee asked for. And the minimum award is Robbinsdale, which is 6,000. This is the total amount they asked for because they are less than 10,000, so they got granted all the amount of money that they asked for. This graph shows you the amount requested, which is the blue plus the orange, versus the amount granted, which is only the blue. The total amount that we awarded is $1 million. I think it's shy $3,000 only that we didn't use because of the formula. The formula dictates for us how much, so we have left only $3,000 at this point. But one of the things that I would like to bring to your attention, we are running a similar program right now that will end in June of this year, 2022. And this is the previous round of grants. We are expecting that we are going to have $150,000 that's still available for us from the communities that they cannot use it by June of this year. So we are going to roll this amount of money into this program, and we are trying to make the communities whole, especially the communities that they saw a big reduction. We are trying to use 150 to fill that gap for them. Another thing that I just wanted to bring to your attention, based on our experience running this program for the last 8 years right now, we have noticed that some communities, for unforeseen reasons, they will retain some of the money. And this happened especially during the pandemic. We have some communities, because of their staff limitations, they couldn't run this program. And so they have to return back the money for us, and we took that money and we made it available for communities who went through the money quickly and they wanted more. And also we provided an opportunity for communities that we reduced them in the last time. We used the same formula for the last time, because last time we have only $750,000 and we received requests for $1.4 million. So we had to, last time the reductions were really higher than this time. So with that, we tried our best to provide this money, and we made the communities aware that we are trying to make whatever amount of money that's available from the current program, we're going to roll it into the next time, and we're trying to make you whole in the next year or so. So our next steps after approval, hopefully by the Environment Committee and the Council, award letters will be sent to the communities. The grant legal agreements will be sent to communities for signatures, and Environmental Services Finance will create financial accounts in web grants. That financial accounts will help the communities to communicate with us, reporting, especially the reporting and all the expenditure that they have done, and also they have used, and also making payments to them about the money that we granted to them. Grant program, we are hoping with this schedule to begin on July 1st, so that there is a seamless transition between the current program, which will end on June 30th, and the start of the new program, which will start in July 1st. With that, Mr. Chair, committee members, the proposed action is that the Metropolitan Council authorize its regional administrator to award and execute the water efficiency grant program grants recommended in Attachment A in the total amount of $997,920.
Very good. Thank you very much. Is there a motion to that effect? Councilmember Zirin.
Make the motion.
Thank you. A second. And it has been seconded. Well, let's, what's that?
Discussion?
Yeah, let's have some discussion. Is any questions on this? Or discussion? Yeah, please.
Well, sure, thank you, Chair. My question is around the administration of the programs and how, it's a 2-year cycle, I get that, and then the city has the ability over 2 years to take that money and then provide grants to their residents. What issues were the cities running into for administering this program?
Mr. Chair, council members, the main issue is staffing.
Staffing.
That the city, especially this staffing, also reporting, because the city need to make sure that the receipts that they're receiving are really for devices that's really installed. Okay. So in a way, verification of installation and verification of that, because we are requesting devices that's approved by WaterSense, not any device that you can go buy it from the store. And that's where the two things that most of the communities, especially smaller communities, has complained about. Larger communities with staffs and public works staff they didn't complain about that. And the rebate program for them was very smooth. They were able to distribute the money. Actually, I have, out of the last time, we have 16 communities came back in 6 months only, in the 2 years, asking for more money. Because they have been able to run the program efficiently. Some of the communities struggled with it, but at the end of the day, all of the communities, out of the 750,000, we are expecting between 100,000 and 150,000 to come back to us. And some of them, because one of the communities, which is a bigger community, they said from the beginning that we don't have staff at this point to run this program for us. So we are returning $30,000. So that's a big chunk of money from one community coming back to us. So it's mainly staffing. That's the biggest deal that for most of the communities is dedicated staffing and the verification process.
Chair, would it be inappropriate for the council to provide staff support on?
It's a good question. Well, I was curious to know about the Dakota County arrangement, and that seems like they administer a good chunk of the program for the cities in Dakota County.
That's correct,
And
Mr.
I'm curious, how did that all come about? Did they approach us? Did we approach them?
I think it was Dakota County who took the initiative that they wanted to help. They were aware of this, and they asked the communities, how can we help? And the communities said, help us with the administration of this program. And that's how they took it, and they have been now establishing this process in the last 2 rounds. So now they have the experience to run the program. We tried to bring, and actually we did a meeting for all the new applicants and the old applicants, and we tried to share knowledge between the two so that communities who are struggling with administrative issues, they can learn from it. Just to answer your question, committee members, we tried to think about how we can make things streamlined and easier for communities. We are trying to look into potential ways of doing it online. A lot of these things, how can we use the virtual reality that we have lived in for the last 2 years on making sure that we can use some of the technology that's available for us and for the community and make it available. So us in Met Council, we continue evaluating this program. Actually, we did a survey at the end of the last round, and that's how we knew that some of the struggles for the communities is administrative issues. And so we are trying to make sure that, as example, the reporting to be 100% online. Verification could be done online. And we are trying to provide these tools to the community so that they can use it. But at the same time, we are reaching out to, like, Washington County. We know that we have many of the communities in Washington County who are applicants of this program. We are reaching out to them so that we can, because in the past, Washington County actually was interested in the program, and they offered money to the communities who are participating in this as their cost share. So the cost share, instead of coming from the city, it came from the county. And so we are reaching out to Washington County and trying to ask them to be helpful with the administrative topics that we are dealing with.
Very good. Thank you.
Great. Very good. Anything else? Yeah, please.
Mine, thank you, Chair, just has to do with the communities. It seems like most of the communities have came back, but have there ever been any communities that started with the program since 2019 that either they feel that it's successful, they don't need it anymore, or haven't came back for whatever reason?
Mr. Chair, committee members, we have some communities who dropped from the program, and the observation we have in that is the staff who used to manage the program for them retired. And that's what we have seen in a couple of the communities actually who dropped out of this program at this point, that there was not that transfer of knowledge happening within or still, it's kind of a slow transfer of knowledge to the new staff to know about these issues and how they can apply for the program, how they can manage it. And so that's one of the observations we had. We are hoping to we are evaluating this program very closely, and hopefully next time, if we have more money, we'll be able to provide more support for communities who have been applicants in the past and use the money so that they can come back and we can help them more in their areas.
Please.
All right, just, I know we, with the marketing wise, do you think most of the 7-county area communities that use municipal water know about the program? Like, you feel like our marketing, our word is getting out pretty well, or are there some communities either out west or up north or that aren't, hearing about the program?
Within the committee chair and committee members, within the ability of us in the council here, we tried our best. Actually, this is the first time we reached out to some of our staff who are specialized in marketing in the communication areas, so that they can help us with the marketing for this program this time, because we realized that I'm not a marketing person, and none of my staff are marketing people. So we reached out to other people in the council to help us with that. And they gave us really good advices, and they told us about different venues that we use this time. I think there is still room for improvement. We are still going to investigate this. We still want to be able to provide this program for all the communities. But again, it comes down to a lot of decisions about this in the community itself. Is this a priority for the community? That's a big question, because there is a cost share. So some of the communities might say, we don't want to participate because there is a cost share, and we don't know about if we can do that. Some of the communities, they have difficulties in setting the rebate program, how they can set the rebate program. And so that's why we are trying to introduce the most seasoned communities who have been doing this for a long time to the new communities who are trying to set up their programs, and we try to connect them so that they can learn from each other. And I think that's worked, because, as example, Maple Grove, when they reached out to us, we connected them to another community who have been in the program for the last 2 rounds. And that's when they applied for the program for the first time this time. So it's always we are trying to be the conduit where we learn from the experiences that in the last time, and we try to share it with the community so that they can provide. But again, there is still room for improvement. We hope that this program will continue in the future, especially with the Clean Water Fund. It's available. And we think this is a program that's really making a difference on the ground, and it's supporting communities to take a good initiative on water efficiency.
I appreciate the information that you provided to council members for us to then do our own marketing to those cities too.
Sure.
So that's good. All right. Did we take a vote on this?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. Thank you. All right. Good. Keeping me on the straight and narrow here. Okay. Without anything else, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. When do you think those letters are going to go out, in the next few days or so to the various cities?
As soon as we get the approval from the council, which I think is tomorrow. Am I correct in that, Susan Stiller?
Tomorrow for the full
Tomorrow
vote?
for the full council, I think we are scheduled for that.
This item will go, bear with me one moment, please. This will be on the committee of the whole on May 4th.
May 4th. So as soon as May 4th we get that approval, we will start sending the letters to the communities.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. That takes us to our second item, land acquisition for lift station L48, Rehabilitation and Forcemain 6-DH-645 replacement. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, committee members. Nice to see everybody in person. It's a little different perspective sitting down, so.
Indeed.
Yes.
No one's going to be advancing your slides for you.
I'll try to multitask, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Yes, today I'm here to present business item 2022-109 for the land acquisition on the L48 rehabilitation project. So to give you a little project background, this is located in the community of Deep Haven. The bottom slide kind of shows the overall area just to locate yourself. And that is, and then the upper slide is the project area itself. mainly located on Cottagewood Drive, Vine Hill Road, and Ridgewood. Those facilities are reaching the end of their service life. We'll have a force main that is primarily along Cottagewood and Vine Hill Road that'll be directionally drilled and replaced. And we also have some gravity pipe on the northeast portion, the east-west segment of that project that'll also be open cut construction and replaced as part of this project. We do need the temporary easement rights to accommodate a couple things, both the staging, storage of equipment, and just property access to complete the work. So the proposed temporary easements are required for 4 properties, including 1 residential and public land. Those are Hennepin County Railroad Authority, City of Deep Haven, there's Deep Haven Elementary, and then 1 private resident that we do need temporary easements from. So with that, Mr. Chair, the proposed action is that the Metropolitan Council passes Resolution 22-9, authorizing the acquisition of temporary easements for the L48 rehabilitation and Forcemain 6DH 645 replacement, and staff to initiate condemnation proceedings.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question.
Please.
Is there an active rail in that area right now, or is it just land that's owned by?
Mr. Chair,
Rail
committee
authority.
members, that is actually a very active bike trail, and I
Is that
forget
right?
the name of the
Okay.
bike trail, but yeah, there's a lot of bike traffic on that.
Searching my memory bank and thinking there's no train there. Okay, thank you.
Maybe at one time. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Please.
How has the communication been with the 1 private resident that's in there?
Mr. Chair, committee members, to date, we have initiated conversations with them, met out on site explaining what the project is, what the needs are, and are currently working with our real estate group with appraisals and offers to that property owner.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion to move forward?
Move approval.
Second?
Motion and a second have been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you're staying up for our 3rd item, which is an intergovernmental agreement with Hennepin County.
Yes. Thank you again, Mr. Chair. This one I'd like to present business item 2022-10110, the intergovernmental agreement with Hennepin County, contract 22I007. So again, to provide a little project background, the lower map is generally the area. This is located in the community of Orono on County Road 51 and be just north of Shoreline Drive, County Road 15, in that area, West Metro, Lake Minnetonka area. The upper 2 maps are the respective bridge locations. And right now, Hennepin County is looking to replace both of those bridges with the project. And our existing force mains are suspended from both bridges that are to be removed. So MCS is currently collaborating with Hennepin County to include temporary conveyance for those facilities to have that installed before the bridge is demolished. So the replacement of the force mains, actually the replacement force mains will be relocated under a separate council project to put the permanent piping in with a separate project later this year. So the agreement terms, the lead agency would be Hennepin County in this instance. MCS will permit Hennepin County's general contractor to install temporary conveyance on both Hendrickson and Nuremberg Bridge crossings. MCS will support and collaborate with Hennepin County in both engineering and construction inspection services. And preliminary cost participation is that MCS will pay for the construction of the temporary conveyance. Whoop. It seems I'm missing a slide. That's it. So the slide you're not seeing.
We can get it on our iPad.
That's, okay. With that, Mr. Chair, the proposed action is that the Metropolitan Council authorizes its regional administrator to negotiate and execute an intergovernmental agreement, Contract 22I-007, with Hennepin County for the construction of temporary conveyance as part of Hennepin County's Nuremberg and Hendrickson Bridges Replacement Project for an amount not to exceed $2,300,000.
$2,300,000.
That is correct, Mr. Chair. Thank you. And now, I am complete and available for questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions on this item? Councilmember Sterner.
All right, thank you, Chair. I just was wondering, what's the usable life of this Forcemain with it? I know it probably doesn't matter because the bridge is going down, but was it half-life of what's got left, or?
Mr. Chair, committee members, I'm trying to remember, I believe this is early 70s vintage pipe. So it is nearing the end of its service life. So the temporary conveyance will be just that, temporary. And then we'll follow in and relocate in 2 permanent barrels that'll be put underneath the channel.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And that goes totally underneath the channel, I mean, underground.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, you are correct.
Yeah.
That is directionally drilled underneath each respective channel. And then we're not hanging from the bridges anymore for any future replacements.
Great.
Well, that seems like a great idea. I'll move the business item.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Without any further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. And on to our last non-consent agenda item, which is 2022-111, master contracts for ARC Flash Electrical Engineering and Electrical Inspection Services. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and committee members, and thank you for the opportunity to present this business item. My name is Tim Amstutz, and I am an assistant manager in plant engineering, one of the programs of wastewater planning and capital project delivery. And I'll be presenting business item 2022-111 called Master Contracts for Arc Flash Electrical Engineering and Electrical Inspection Services. I'll see if this works. It does. There are 2 parts to the scope of services for this master contract: Arc Flash Electrical Engineering Services and Electrical Construction Inspection Services. I'd like to spend a little bit of time discussing both. The first scope of services seeks professional electrical engineering arc flash technical services for MCS wastewater treatment plant facilities. We operate facilities that contain low, medium, and high voltage systems. An arc flash hazard analysis is a study of the electrical equipment which determines the incident energy at the working distance and the required personal protection equipment, PPE, that must be used. The study must be updated anytime major modifications or renovations are done to electrical equipment that takes place, and it must be reviewed periodically, not to exceed 5 years to account for any changes in the electrical distribution systems. There are 4 different arc flash PPE categories. Each category has different PPE equipment requirements. For example, category 1, which is the lowest level and requires a single layer of arc-rated PPE equipment. Category 4 is the highest level and the most stringent arc-rated clothing requirements, such as a arc-rated suit jacket and pants, face, head, and head protection, and other requirements. The MCS goal is to attempt to keep arc flash incident energy at or below category 2. The scope of services for the arc flash electrical engineering consists of work in 3 areas. The first area is the collection of data. We want to get as much information as possible about an existing or electrical system. The second area is taking that information and performing an engineering analysis of the electrical system to determine mitigation strategies and recommendations to maintain or reduce the arc flash category. The third and last area is the creating, printing, and affixing of an appropriate arc flash label onto the electrical equipment. The second scope of work is quite different, and that is seeking electrician services to inspect electrical construction work for MCS capital construction projects. This work includes inspecting and evaluating electrical construction work by others, such as installation of switchgear, unit substations, motor control centers, switchboards, instrumentation and control, and backup support systems. The work also includes assisting with checkout and startup of process systems, assisting with the preparation of cost estimates, field reporting of construction activities, and, as I mentioned earlier, construction observation. A formal solicitation requesting proposals was issued on September 28th, 2021. The solicitation had a Metropolitan Council underutilized business goal of 7%. 6 proposals were received on October 26, 2021 from Excel Engineering, Industrial Compliance Services, Mitchum, Conley, and Erickson, Recess Services, Stantec Consulting Services, and TKDA. The proposals were evaluated by 6 MCS staff members and an external stakeholder. Each of the proposals was evaluated based on the following criteria: the quality of the proposals, the qualification of the proposer, the experience of the proposer, and the price of the proposal. Both Stantec and TKDA had the highest scores of the proposers. The proposed action asked for today is that the Metropolitan Council authorize the regional administrator to negotiate and execute contracts 21P 204A and 21P 204B with Stantec Consulting Services Incorporated and TKDA for arc flash electrical engineering and electrical construction inspections in the amounts of $575,000 each, for a total not to exceed $1,150,000. This concludes my presentation. Mr. Chair and committee members, I am happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Any questions? I'm guessing the electrician may have a question.
Yeah, there's a lot here to unpack, but my very basic question is who's doing the risk categories and who's doing the inspection?
Oh, the risk category is part of the arc flash, and that's done by a professional electrical engineer. And the inspections are being done by an electrician, a master electrician.
Okay, my question, I need to be a little more specific, I guess. Between the 2 bidders that have done, that are recommended to do the work, are both contractors, are they both doing both parts of that work, or is there one that's assigned the arc flash engineering and the other one's assigned the inspections?
Oh, Mr. Chair, committee members, both Stantec and TKD are doing both functions. So Stantec is doing arc flash engineering, TKDA is doing arc flash. Stantec is doing the inspections and TKDA is doing the inspections.
So is it divide?
Yeah, please go
Chair,
ahead. Yeah.
if I could. Is it then divided based on like a system?
That's correct, Mr. Chair and committee members. Our plan is to have one of the firms do the Metropolitan wastewater treatment plant work and the other firms to do all the other treatment plants.
Understood. Thank you for that. Of course, if I
Any
could.
follow-up?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just one more follow-up. Of course, if we turn the power off, we don't have a need for an arc flash hazard. So, maybe, you didn't discuss that at all, so, maybe that would be a direction to go as well, is to figure out how to turn the power off so there isn't, arc flash hazard.
Mr. Chair and
Is there a
committee,
program for that?
Mr. Chair and committee members, all of the arc flash work is being done on, for processes that we have to maintain in the plants. And so I can't foresee a situation where we need to turn off the power, because if that happens, it'll impact negatively the processes that we have. If we have an opportunity to turn off systems, such as in decommissioned buildings or places like that, we are actively trying to do that. And we have turned off power in situations where we can. But for all the processes that are active, we do need to maintain power, and we need to maintain appropriate arc flash rating for those situations.
So in the ideal situation, you could turn off the power, but for some
We gotta keep this thing
scenarios,
running.
yeah,
and
it's
we
like
gotta-
24 hours, 7 days a week,
Stuff keeps coming down the pipe.
keeps
whether
coming
we-
down.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
I get that, I understand that, but if we have a process to be able to mitigate that, we should be doing that. That's all I should say. And of course, we're not inspecting this outside of the Department of Labor and Industry. We're still doing electrical permits and having the state inspector come and do their part, correct?
That's correct. Mr. Chair and committee members, we require appropriate permits on all our projects. So whatever the requirements are for each municipality in the state, we follow all those requirements.
Thank you.
Councilmember Sterner.
Yeah, I just had a kind of a question. We went with two firms, and I know sometimes we do different firms, but can you just tell more about why we went with two firms? Is it more for the speed of it, or we had two quality firms and figure out the different, quality, or one was more metro, or just go in like we went with two firms rather than one?
Yeah, Mr. Chair and community members, we actually had a very distinct differentiation in regards to the quality of the proposers. The first two, Stantec and TKA, had, if I remember right, very good proposals, okay? The other firms had between what we consider good to marginal proposals. So there was a fairly clear demarcation in regards to the quality of the proposals. And so that was the reason we went with the two.
Okay, and figure, yeah, give both, because they both are high quality, and we
Yep.
could figure it could spread out. All right, thank you.
So is it safe to say that by doing this hazard analysis and these inspections, we are moving forward on making our workplace as safe as it possibly can be in a somewhat dangerous situation, potentially dangerous situation?
That's correct, Mr. Chair and committee members. We have been doing arc flash analysis for quite some time, and this is a continuation of that. And then the maintenance group does ongoing maintenance on all their systems, and we want to make sure that we do arc flash analysis in conformance with that. And then secondly, we have ongoing construction projects throughout our system, and we want to make sure that we have appropriate construction inspection for all those. The construction field office has electricians that are part of MCS staff. Sometimes they may not have enough staff to cover all the activities that is going on in construction, and we want to be able to supplement that and make sure that all the facilities that are built are in accordance with the contract documents.
Makes great sense to me. All right, do we have a motion to
So
move
moved.
forward on this? Great. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. That carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that takes us through our non-consent agenda. No information items at this time, so I'll turn it over to Lisa.
Welcome back, everybody. It's good to be in the flesh.